The film Talk to Me, directed by Adelaide's Filippo brothers, is one of the most impactful Australian horror films in my recent memory. I chose it because it stayed with me long after leaving the cinema, something not many other local films have managed to pull off. Its direction and use of horror tropes show how younger filmmakers are reshaping Australian screen culture. The story follows Mia, a teenager still grieving the death of her mother from a year earlier. She's isolated, desperate for belonging, and becomes obsessed with a new local trend, an embalmed hand that allows teens to be possessed by spirits. What begins as a thrill quickly spirals into horror, as Mia's trauma makes her unable to let go of the dead. The opening scene captures the film's critique of youth culture. A continuous tracking shot takes us through a chaotic party where a brother searches for his sibling stuck in a possession trance. As he drags him outside, the crowd of teens are waiting, phones raised, eager to capture the spectacle for their own social media. When violence erupts, it's not met with shock, but with performance, setting the film's tone. A generation addicted to spectacle, validation, and risk. This is also repeated frequently through other represented scenes. At its heart, Talk to Me explores grief and trauma. Mia is haunted by her mother's death, and her desperation drives her into reckless psychological and supernatural games. The possession scenes mirror addiction. Moments of euphoria followed by terrifying repercussions and come downs. Peer pressure and the need to outdo each other for viral clips turn mourning into spectacle, showing how technology amplifies escapism. The film critiques how neglect and the cultural silence around death leave young people unable to process grief in healthy ways, all of this making them vulnerable to destructive coping mechanisms. A comparison to this early in the film is when Mia fails to do what's right by the kangaroo she just hit with her vehicle, not even asking for help or being able to put it out of its misery, but rather leaving it to bear pain on its own, leaving her accountability behind. Barbara Creed's The Monstrous Feminine draws on Julia Kristeva's theory of objection. It's especially relevant here. Kristeva argues that objection arises from the child's struggle to separate from the mother, a bond both comforting and suffocating. In horror films, the maternal figure becomes monstrous when this separation collapses. For Mia, her refusal to let go of her dead mother creates exactly this collapse. The living and the dead, comfort and terror all blur together. Her grief becomes abject, disturbing identity, order, and morality. This helps explain why Mia's possession spirals beyond control. The maternal figure, rather than released, consumes her. Beyond horror, the film reflects modern Australia. Its diverse cast mirrors suburban multiculturalism, showing a shift from the white, bush-focused stories that dominated older Australian cinema. The struggles here are not wars or colonial hardships, but mental health crises, peer pressure, and fractured families. The use of phones and TikTok-style possessions captures a new generational reality, one where technology mediates every experience. In this way, Talk to Me represents Australia's changing screen culture, global in style but rooted in local realities. Here is a clip of the two rising directors explaining technology within their film.
Back in the day, it's don't walk into the dark forest, but now it's do that and film it and get attention. We have that attention-seeking thing about us now, where it's like we all just want attention. We're all posting on TikToks, we're doing whatever we're doing to try and get attention, whether it's good or bad. So it's showing, there's a positive and a negative to that, and we wanted to show both sides of that in the film.
Ultimately, Talk to Me is more than a horror film. It's a study of grief, trauma, and the dangers of escapism, framed within Australia's youth culture. By combining gothic horror with contemporary anxieties, the Filippo brothers have created a film that not only terrifies, but also reflects the fractures of modern Australian society, a nation haunted by both its past and the struggles of its future generations. Thank you for listening.